Fukushima never again. Shut down all the nukes. 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 こんにちは。こんにちは。新しい年が巡ってきました。今日も私たちはここに立たざるを得ないので立っています。2度ほどこのラリーをスキップしましたが、私たちはまたここに立ちます。なぜなら安倍首相は次々と再稼働、原発を再稼働させ、そして日本を戦争のできる国に変えようとしているからです。私たちは Japanese government and the US government, for both, we have to protest their militarism and then pro-nuclear power plant. So, anyway, today is rarely California, it's raining. So we must think that it is lucky to have rain. And then this is the first rally of this 2019. We are very lucky to have rain. California has been drought. We really need rain. This global warming is really affecting to the California weather. So this rain is nothing for our standing here, nothing damping our rally. Is it right? Okay, so because 2 months we skipped the rally, so many things happened and happening, and then so many things might have to review, but it is impossible to do that. But 2019, this is a year that for people who are against nuclear power plant isn't so good year, because couple of injunction, OE 原発 and デカタ原発, the lower court and the higher court issued injunction, but higher court turned over this injunction. That's why, yes, many reactors in Japan are in operation. I wonder if anybody knows how many reactors in Japan now operating. Do you know Kazumi-san? Do you know Toshiko-san? Okay, anyway, it is 9 reactors. It's 9 reactors. Even one is too much. 9 reactors operated in Japan. It's just insane. It's a 3 electric company operate together 9 reactors. After Fukushima meltdown, all stopped. And the next year, OE 原発 we started against majority of opposition. By Fukushima meltdown, majority of Japanese people realized that nuclear power plants are not safe at all. And then government and industry lied to them, cheated them, hiding the fact. Now, after the disaster, government even didn't compensate them fully at all. The victims in this Fukushima disaster, they are still suffering. Over 2,000 people have Fukushima melted down. More than 2,000 people related to this melted down. Many are committed suicide. The Japan, we really realized that we cannot trust. So that the majority people oppose to restart any nuclear power plant. But the next year, 2012 summer, since Oi nuclear power plant restarted, then now, after almost 8 years later, nine so many reactors are in operation. Can you believe it? When they restarted, they put aside for the people's fear, and they didn't answer so many non-answering fears. For example, there are no safety escape plan, and many plants close to the big volcanic mountain, when it's erupted, when it's really a big eruption, what do they do? Those questions never answered, and they just restarted. But then now, those spent fuels are accumulating. Let's see, right. This is a Fukui Oi Genbatsu when they started, 2017. They promised, the Kansai Electric Company promised to find the storage area, storage place. They should name the place out of the Fukui prefecture. They promised when they started to tell where they're going to build the storage facility for the spent fuel to take out the fuel from the Fukui prefecture. Then, that is 2018, they should have found. They didn't. They didn't find. In 2019, they don't think they can find. They might find, they said 2020. But it is very hard to find any place in Japan, so tiny island. It's very hard to find any place to put those poison to store. Nobody wants those poisonous eradicated material to their place. You remember in the beginning when the nuclear power plant started? We didn't know, and we don't know yet where to put the spent fuels, right? They just hoped that next generation might find those places. So they started to nuclear power plant. Some people call it mansion without toilet. It is literally like that. And then recently Niigata prefecture governor asked to TEPCO to take care of the radioactive mud. They have tons of those material in their prefecture because this melted down. They asked to take it for the 2018. TEPCO didn't do. So that the prefecture said, okay, we might do it, but you must take this cost. Then the TEPCO answered, well, sorry, we cannot do it. The cost is too much. We have so many problems because started the nuclear power plant, we don't know where to put, and then once again, the Fukushima melted down. This is still ongoing disaster. It's not stopped. People think that the 2020 Olympic coming, why not? Japan is safe. No, it is not, and we don't have such a money to spend for Olympic. We have to really spend those money to solve this problem. Like $20 billion we need to decommission the like 30 or so our old nuclear power plants. But these are still not counting any labor fee or maintenance cost. $20 billion going to be ballooning. So we are very afraid after Tokyo Olympic. We spend so much money, we don't have much money to spend for the decommission and then compensate the victims. Japan, I say it's insane. It's crazy. It is crazy. And then see the Abe. What's Abe doing? Abe never tried to kick U.S. armies from Okinawa at all. Even now it's supporting constructing the Henoko base against the 60% of the voters' opposition. And then Abe now try to change our peace constitution in Article 9, so that Japan become to be the country that can have a war. We could already made the change that sending the army to join the U.S. war, but also Japan. It's not only self-defense, but Japan could provoke the war. We have to remember what Japan did for the past. The people, Japanese people are brainwashed. And then, the government, military, invaded other countries and killed people. And let our Japanese people be killed. So we have to really stand here and voice our out, because the silence is the admittance. Silence is not good. We must put our voice out. And again, the silent cancer among the children. Those are like 200 people now. And then Japan is still not connecting to the meltdown. They said because we have research too much, too vigorously, too often. That's why we find those patients. That's a joke. And then we gave the kids, many kids fear that when they get old, when they get adult, can I have a baby? It is really tragedy. And then the government is not fully taking care of them. That's the reason we are here. And then of course I cannot tell everything today, but we keep on standing here, and then we focus the problem, and then we never give up. Japanese consulate in here, this building, they are the window of the Japanese government. We are giving each time write fresh letter to Prime Minister Abe. And this time, Maria Kelly, who is the top of the leader of the tribal care, which for 40, 50 years doing against against nuclear weapons. And they understand that nuclear weapons and nuclear power plants are same level. Abe want to keep nuclear power plants because Abe want to build nuclear weapons anytime soon. He cannot let nuclear technology go. That's the reason we know nuclear power plants now is not profitable, cost too much opposition, but still keeping and still 9 reactors working in Japan because we don't want, Abe doesn't want to let go for the plutonium. Okay, so I asked Toshiko Watanabe to read the 5-year series, The Wonderful Letter, today.
The Prime Minister of Japan, Mr. Shinzo Abe, from Primary Cares in Livermore, California, USA. Subject: Japanese government response referring the Fukushima nuclear power plant disaster, January 11, 2019. Your Excellency, I write you today to say that Primary Care's 5,700 members stand with the No Nukes Action Committee today in its vigil at the Japanese consulate in San Francisco to protest inadequacies in your government's response to the disaster at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant that occurred on March 11, 2011, nearly 8 years ago. My organization recognizes the tragedy of Fukushima is not limited to some now distant past. Indeed, the people of Japan are directly affected daily, as is our common environment of land, air, and water. Most directly affected, of course, are the prefecture's former residents who have been assured by your government that it is safe to return and have been financially coerced to do so by the termination of housing assistance. Primary Cares understands that your government is basing its assurances of safety in a significantly different standard than it used to determine safe radiation levels before the disaster. According to the United Nations, Japan increased the dose of radiation it considered safe from 1 millisievert per year to 20 millisieverts a year, a 20-fold increase. We note with alarm this October 2018 quote from the UN Special Rapporteur: the gradual lifting of evacuation order has created enormous strain on people whose lives have already been affected by the worst nuclear disaster of this century. Thus could Turkat, the UN Special Rapporteur of hazardous substances and waste said in a statement on October 25th, many feel they are being forced to return to areas that are unsafe, including those with radiation levels, what the Japanese government previously considered safe. Further, Kubat said it was disappointing to see Japan appear to all but ignore recommendations from UN human rights monitors to return to its original standard of acceptable radiation levels. Primary Cares calls on the Japanese government to prioritize the safety and the health of its people. No one should be coerced to return due to financial hardship. Moreover, Primary Cares notes the October 1st, 2018 admission by TEPCO that nearly 1 million tons of stored water at the plant contains unsafe levels of radioactivity, according to Reuters. This includes 65,000 tons of treated water. That is more than 100 times the allowable limits for radioactivity. Indeed, strontium-90 contamination was found to be 20,000 times the legal limit. According to the news report, TEPCO has lied about the contamination still remaining, that more than 60 radioactive pollutants in the water pose a threat to human health and the environment, including tritium, the hazard of which TEPCO routinely downplays. News reports have also disclosed that the ice wall is not performing, making the situation worse as water seeps into the basement of the ravaged plant. We have read that there is widespread opposition to dumping contaminated water into the ocean. We add our voice to theirs. Further, we support the movement to hold TEPCO officials criminally accountable. That said, Mr. Prime Minister, the entirety of the Japanese government is also responsible for its response. And as best we can see, you are failing the people of Fukushima and all of us who inhabit this beautiful planet. We urge you to embark upon a new start in 2019. Make this year that your government becomes the helper and champion of the people and the prosecutor of the criminally liable who have polluted and continue today to pollute the environment. Thank you for your consideration of our remarks. We look forward to seeing a change in policy in the coming year. In peace, Executive Director, Primary Cares, Maria Carey.
Thank you, Michiko-san. So as letter indicate that yes, the three TEPCO executives are in court. They are in court, and then for the criminal responsibility, the come to the court judgment, I think March or start from March. Hope these three are convicted and get in jail, because then who has the responsibility? Of course, TEPCO lied, TEPCO cheated, they have a criminal responsibility. They must take responsibility. And then for the last year, 2019, I said almost for bad thing, but the good thing too. Do you know that, first of all, I was very surprised that the Japanese Business Federation's top said, if the majority of people in Japan oppose the nuclear power plant, then we cannot push too further. We have to get along with those opinions. Wow! That's, I think, great improvement, because Japanese Business Federation is the side of the Abe. They are supporting Abe, but now they are seems like betraying Abe. But I wonder why, you know. This federation's executive is also the Hitachi company's executive. Hitachi tried to construct new nuclear power plant in England. They started for the 3-4 years for planning. And finally, I think yesterday, they decided to withdraw. They decided to abandon because the costs are twice as much. The same as Turkey. The Mitsubishi Juko heavy industry company wanted to export their nuclear power plant to Turkey, but then they gave up. There is last month they decided. I think that's a great news that, you know, less nuclear power plants on this earth. We don't need any really more nuclear power plant. Oil plant should decommission, and we should rely on the alternative energy. So, but the one thing that once they couldn't export to nuclear power plants, and they're gonna focus for the domestically. That's my fear too, also. So now people have to even more strong to oppose towards militarism, and then fight to decommission the nuclear power plant. Kazumi-san, take one word.
Just one word. Well, in Japan, many people already forgot about Fukushima. They don't talk about it. But I just read the article that about it was somebody checked this town, Nihonmatsu. Nihonmatsu is, I think, between Fukushima and Koriyama. The small 55,000 people, I think, small city. But in many areas, there's a hot spot, dangerously near. Some of them are near the school or near the station. So the nuclear danger is still, since 8 years happened, still around the people. And every day, I think 150 tons of contaminated water is created. And within Fukushima compound, 1 million tons of water is stored. They don't know what to do. Those contaminated water. They said that they will, what's called but anyway, take the nuclear things off from the water. But one thing for sure, the difference they cannot take it is tritium. That they cannot take out from the water, and all this contaminated water is every day piling up.
So, only thing we can say is that decommissioned all the nuclear power plants, just take all the power plants out from Japan, and the only thing we hope is Japan to be no nuclear power plant in the entire Japan. So please, Prime Minister Abe, move quickly. Listen to the other 3 prime ministers and the former prime ministers. Please take all the power plants, nuclear power plants out.
Also, I read the letter that Hiroshima many organizations wrote to the Hiroshima city, or Hiroshima governor, I think, city, about August 6th peace ceremony. The city said that no speaker for the demonstration around the ceremony place. Do you remember that the next year the Go West people having some demonstration telling the truth, the fact? One of them were arrested. That was last year, right? Last Hiroshima, and then this coming Hiroshima city tried to ban the speaker from the demonstration people. What? They are really suppressing the protestant. They really outrageous. So anyway, I maybe try to email this letter too. But anyway, yes. Okay. So today is raining and many people are cold. So thank you so much. Really thank you. Coming and then supporting this rally. Thank you. So we see you here again February 11th.
Yeah.
Shut down all the nukes!
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 Fukushima never again!
Fukushima never again!
Fukushima never again!
Fukushima never again!
Hiroshima never again!
Hiroshima never again!
Hiroshima never again!
Hiroshima never again!
Nagasaki never again!
Nagasaki never again!
Nagasaki never again!
Nagasaki never again!
Shut down all the nukes!
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 See you next month.
Okay.
Thank you.